idea. If you are not committed with it, the other person is better, the investors can judge it in a second.
ये क्या हुआ मुझे नहीं समझ आ रही और सजदे में गिर जाता है इंसान ऐसे पॉइंट्स.
It's always okay to come back, touch base, touch the grass, and then move on.
So it is actually very different. The playing field is very different from men.
कीड़ा होगा आपके अंदर, अगर वो कीड़ा मर्द और औरत किसी में भी, इट्स नॉट अबाउट जेंडर, जस्ट फॉरगेट अबाउट जेंडर राइट नाउ, वो कीड़ा आपको रेस्टलेस लगता है.
Extreme niches. So without further ado, I would like to invite Ms. Sakina Abbas, Ms. Faiza Yusuf, Ms. Sarah Sumani, and Ms. Sarah Sumani. So, firstly, Ms. Sakina Abbas, she serves as the CEO of Enchante and she's a certified gemologist, which means she works in jewelry making and stylistry, and she has done workshops all over Pakistan for women and given them opportunities that she would not find anywhere else. Then Ms. Faiza Yusuf. She's a technologist and an advocate for women in STEM, which is very necessary these days because oftentimes women in STEM don't get the opportunities that they deserve. But Ms. Faiza Yusuf, with her initiatives, has made sure that women in STEM get that. Through her initiatives in Women in Tech in Pakistan, Goat Girls and Caterpillars, my personal favorite because of the name, which is very funny. Then Ms. Sara Paracha, who's a digital journalist and the founder of Paracha Industries, and Ms. Sundar Saifullah. She's the co-founder of Kamyabi and has her own clothing brand and an apparel brand, which means that you now have 4 very different niche favorite women, and they're going to tell you about their stories. I would like to explain how the panel discussion will be going forward. Firstly, our esteemed guests will be explaining their work and their stories, and then moving forward, we'll be getting a more deep question and answer session, whereas you, the audience, will be asking questions from them. I hope that's clear, and I hope the audience isn't there because I really need you guys to be active. This panel is going to be very interesting, only if you put in the effort that is required. Without further ado, I would like to start off with Ms. Sakina Abbas to share with us her business and its story.
Hello, assalamualaikum everyone. Thank you for having us over. So my name is Sakina Abbas and I run a brand called Enchante. I am a GIA certified gemologist. GIA is the world's leading gemology training institute in the US. It's called the Gemological Institute of America, which is the world's finest and the top grading institute that grades diamond that is sold anywhere in the world. Pakistan is a very resource-rich country when we talk about gemstones. Unfortunately, in our country, we do not have that kind of focus on this niche, and jewelry making has now been reduced to more of a reselling of mass consumer produced stuff in the market. Enchante was founded on the belief that we want to revive our local craftsmanship and the dying arts for which we were once known throughout history. The subcontinent had some of the finest craftsmen that made jewelry into a form of art. And that's what our main motto for the brand is, because we want to cater to a niche and revive that dying art, and also revive the awareness for gemstones and the art of jewelry making among the masses, which are now so used to, purchasing and using products that are very substandard and do not have that fine appreciation for jewelry. So that is what our Shanti is all about. We have been exhibiting all across Pakistan, and then we are part of a trade show led by the International Trade Center in Birmingham last year. And apart from that, I also am a very strong advocate for women empowerment, and I try to give back through workshops that we conduct, both on brand building and then our own niche, gemstones and jewelry. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for that, Ms. Sukaina. Next we have Ms. Faiza telling us about her tech journey.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for inviting us. My journey started like all of you. I'm an engineering graduate from Unity University. I graduated 15 years ago and I started working in tech. And then Azra was here. Azra was mentioning a program, World Bank program. Sukaina and I were graduates from that program. And that program became a turning point in my career because I was very used to with, working as an engineer and working in companies where there were not a lot of women, and had again a lot of isolation in terms of how to navigate the career, how to go to managerial positions and stuff like that. So WomenX, I started consulting on the side, and WomenX came to my life in a point where I realized that the power of network is really important. And you need that kind of tribe and community around you. So WomenX gave me a lot of friends, lifelong friends, a lot of mentors, a lot of people. I believe you also are associated with IBA in some sort. So IBA ran that program, and that became like a hub for a lot of these communities. So that made me get into social entrepreneurship. I started with a non-profit community, then I started with a coding boot camp. That now we have scaled to 3 locations. We are in Karachi, Skardu, and Cape Town, South Africa. Then I started Caterpillars. The company was already there. I joined as a co-founder, and we started working with women because the company is around women. We do a lot of career accelerators and a lot of entrepreneurship accelerators, but entrepreneurship accelerators for impact-focused companies. So companies that make low profit, that do not have a lot of, room to become unicorns, but at the same time they're doing a great service to people by providing things that are really important in the sustainable kind of lifestyle, sustainable fashion, sustainable manufacturing area. And then I do a lot of consulting with global organizations with tech products. A few of the products that I've worked on, and you must have heard of them. One of them is Testgorilla. And then I work with Check Skills. I work with Move It in Pakistan. So a lot of these companies I work with in terms of helping them identify what the real problem is. So their user journey, their market research, their product development, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my story.
Thank you so much, Ms. Faiza. Now we have Ms. Sarah Paracha and her digital journalist and her brand Paracha explanation.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Sarah Paracha, and I would like to start from a little bit of beginning. And in the year 2006, I was just an ordinary kid at that time who did matriculation and wanted to do MBBS at that time, but we didn't have that much money because we were from the landlord family and our agricultural lands were having some sort of problems at that time. And my family was quite clear about it that you need to, if you wanted to continue it, you need to do something at your own. And since then I started learning graphic designing, website development, and even I did ad placement at that time, and my first check was I think around 1,800 rupees at that time, which was quite good for me because it was 2006 and you can understand. But mainly in today's world we mostly think about data, but at that time we used to do everything with the dial-up connection. So that's where I had started, and I launched my first company, Apple's Apex, which was not only the Pakistan's first remote tech company, but also the APEC and MENA region's first remote tech company in 2006 August. And at that time, we also placed some of the ads in some of the companies at that time, like Rosie.pk and things like that. And we received thousands of the applications from the people. I think it was around like 50,000 people who applied, even from the rural areas, or like B.I. Khan and D.G. Khan and Peshawar kind of people. Women were quite interested to work for us if we can, give them some sort of outsourcing and opportunity, and they can do their work at their home. At that time, there were also some sort of backlash. Even in my extended family, they used to call us gharvedo.com, and they always make fun of us. And it's like at that time I knew it that what we are doing, but not all of those had that idea. After that, we took this idea in Web Summit 2013, and at that time it was internationally recognized. It was something which gave us another sort of opportunity or canvas to see that how we can perform internationally. Eventually, when we started in 2006, in the next 6 months, we had 300% more return on investment which we invested eventually. So that was the thing which was already picking us up, that we can still continue it up. But meanwhile, I realized that whenever I was earning a lot, I didn't want to do that in UBS at all, because I was having that excitement, that luxury of that person who can afford anything at that time. And since then, in 2013, as we go over the Web Summit, we realized that there is some sort of gap in micro investment, especially in the tech startup, and at that point we started Pracha Ventures. And Pracha Ventures, since then, in the initial stages we invested a lot, and after that, because of some of the issues in Pakistan, Pakistani framework of the startup, we invested in the tools and mentorship. We hired the international mentors, and we connect with the startups, and we provide every single thing at our own, so we are like a third party thing. But we still do the work for the growth and marketing strategies for the acceleration. Right now, we are also working with another venture, which is Mina Ventures, for the settled or set up businesses. Because I have recently got a chance in the COVID to work as a head of marketing of Apple's wearable app. And since then, we have realized that there is another kind of scope for us as well to utilize our energies as a team. So now we are also working for the startups, and we are all internationally. Mostly our startups are now on the international level, like Canada, UK, and US. But currently, we are mostly also looking forward to the people who are having some sort of idea and maybe a prototype in Pakistan, so that we can help them out as much we can. Because we are not asking for money for Pakistani startups, but we earn it from the international startups, so are different on that stage. Recently, in the past 2 years, from 2024, I have also won a lot of marketing and innovation sustainability awards, and few were also for the Pracha Ventures and one of our other companies as well. So we are doing a lot more in this sector, and I'm looking forward to the more courses today.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sarah Raja. Now we have Ms. Sundar Saifullah.
Assalamualaikum everyone. Thank you for having me here. So, I am working in the startup space for past 20 years, I believe. So, I started as a team pruner, and I started. I built my own cattery, and I was the first one to crack feline import in Pakistan, and have a pretty have a So that was my very first venture I worked with, and I never took any external investments or any fundings from anyone. I've always started from zero and made something up there. So that was my first venture, and then some of my my ideology around animals changed, so I stopped working with animals, and after that I worked with furniture, made good money out of it, and then afterwards I started working with clothing. Now I own a manufacturing concern called Janashwaraj. We work B2B, and
except for that, I also have a multi-brand, Pakistani multi-brand marketplace, and we are actually connecting resellers, women resellers who sell Pakistani brands from their houses, from their homes. So we connect them to businesses abroad who are importing all these brands. So we are giving them platforms to sell the stock, whatever their inventory. So basically, we are connecting those resellers to the businesses abroad. Uske alawa, I also co-founded a social enterprise called Scale to Sustain, which is giving free tech support to all the startups we are connected with. And I'm also working as a director sales in an IT company just for the sake of networking. So that is about me. That's that.
Thank you so much to all four of you for those wonderful introductions. I'm sure the audience took back a lot from that because, like I said in the beginning as well, all four of you have very different things that you do, and I think it's very inspiring seeing women work in such specific niches, especially gemology, because I've loved making jewelry ever since, and it's just very motivating for me myself as well. I'll ask the question, but all four of you have to answer it in your own, like focusing on your own niche, right? So you can go first, Ms. Cynthia. Can you tell me more about challenges that you have faced that are specific to your clothing brand only, and that women who, or like people who work in clothing brands would face?
Okay, so challenges that I've always faced is because I've always worked with my own money. So the challenges I've always faced or I face every day is about cash flows, about because at the end of the day you need to pay the people who are involved with you. Because I am currently running almost 50 plus houses, and that is since past 15 years, and it's literally an everyday story. And I think I see miracles every day because so many lives are connected with me. I think it's the hard work, I think it's the faith we put into our work, that at the end of the day, पता नहीं कहाँ से पैसे आते हैं, but आ जाते हैं, और रोज ऐसा होता है। कभी कभार प्लान भी नहीं होता, और कभी कभार ऐसा लगता है कि मतलब there are times जब मुझे ऐसा लगा है कि यार ये क्या हुआ, मुझे नहीं समझ आई, और सजदे में गिर जाता है इंसान। ऐसे पॉइंट्स आए हैं, and I have seen it every single day. So yes, that's that.
Thank you so much for that. Ms. Sarah, can you tell me something specific to your niche that was a very big problem that you faced?
Problem?
Yeah, like something that made you think, oh, I can't continue with Raj and Ventures anymore.
It never happened with me because, as she said, that there is some power when you are more committed with your startup. Recently, I did a session in Lincoln Corner with Mr. M.S. Ranai and some other more seniors of the business and corporate sector. And people were asking about, like, even the startups who had some sort of ideas and prototypes, they were asking about, like, how we can sustain for the 3 years. We can't see ourselves. We need to have some sort of money and investment. And there is only one thing which was coming into our mind again and again, and I was telling them that you should be committed with your baby, with your idea. It's your baby, it's your idea. If you are not committed with it, the other person, especially the investors, can judge it in a second. It's not a hard kick for it. And for me and for, I think, for rest of all of us, all of our ideas and all of our companies till now are taken as our own babies, and we are still committed with them. Sometimes it's like a pamper day sort of thing for us. We must have seen, I have seen in my life, a place where I was getting or going very closer to bankruptcy. As I mentioned, that we invested not in the startups in the earlier stages, but those startups were not good enough and they were fake. Eventually they disappeared somehow. So there are some of the situations we always face in a lot of niche and things which we used to do, but we need to do something, and the only thing So yeah. So if we talk about the रिस्क वाकई में अल्लाह ताला की ज़ात देती है, उसके लिए परेशान नहीं होना चाहिए. बंदे बहुत ज़्यादा आके चैलेंज करते हैं, बट वेन एवर यू हैव दैट स्ट्रॉन्ग विल, योर स्ट्रॉन्ग ट्रस्ट ऑन अल्लाह, दैट रिस्क तो अल्लाह ने देना है, तो फिर वाकई में सिर्फ सजदे की ज़रूरत होती है, एक सजदा होता है और फिर काम बन जाया करता है. ये हो जाता है बहुत सारे लोगों के साथ. हर एक अपनी ज़िंदगी में देखते हैं, पर कभी कभार कुछ लोगों का इम्तिहान होता है with the money or without the money. So be stable and try to do whatever your God wanted to do and go with the flow. Like for example, I didn't know on Saturday that I will be coming here today, but it was meant to be like this and I am here today. So it's not, I personally believe that it's always about going with the flow, trust Allah, and you will be ending up somewhere good. Because as I said that I started for doing my MBBS, and I never had that idea that I will be doing this thing, because I was really good at computer sciences, but I hate computer sciences. I didn't like computer and I didn't like to use computer on my daily basis, because though I had it in my home. But it's like, you never have that idea that you will be ending it up. So it's same with the problems in your life, and everything needs to have some sort of end in your life and way.
Thank you so much, Asara. Ms. Faiza, can you tell me problems that you face as a woman in STEM in Pakistan?
Women in tech or women in STEM, I think the main problem is with a lot of gender bias and discrimination. This is something pretty common. You will see it on all levels, from you going for an entry level position or you applying for a senior position. It's every day. But again, at the end of the day, I believe that life is a series of negotiations. So wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you do, आप ज़िंदगी सारी की सारी negotiate करते हुए गुजारते हैं. पहले अपने family के साथ, अपने parents के साथ, siblings के साथ, school में, college में, university में, at workplace, then with your partner, with your in-laws, with your kids. So that's how life is in terms of making sure that you're moving in the right direction. So I think the most important challenge in my life was because I am a neurodiverse person, so my life is a little bit on an extra hard level than other people. This is something that my kind of journey into that taught me, is that it's okay to be at square one. It's always okay to come back, touch base, touch the grass, and then move on. It's absolutely fine to pivot. It's absolutely Sharyal and कह रहे थे कि अगर आप बहुत बोर हो जाएं, then think about something else. I 100% believe in that. Okay, if you find that there is a challenge that you do not find it exciting enough, and you don't, as they mentioned, that you don't love it enough, then maybe that is the time to move on. In my case also, developing products has been something that I really enjoy, because every product is different. But when it comes to social challenges, there are a lot of days when I look at the work that I've done in past 7-8 years in terms of, and there are days when I'm like, maybe today is the last day, but sometimes it happens and then you move on from it. So in a lot of ways, you also negotiate with yourself. So a lot of times I'm doing it to myself that it's a hard day, not a hard life. It's going to pass, and you're going to get over it. But at the same time, make sure that you understand where your limit lies. You have to be obsessed with something, but at the same time, Sharia ne business se baat ki, and I 100% agree with it. Sustainable growth is important. Taking care of your health is important. Being family oriented is really important. So these are things that are always really important. And women also have this added pressure of care work. चाहे वो अपने घर में हो, चाहे वो पेरेंट्स के घर में हो, चाहे ग्रैंड इन-लॉज के साथ रहते हैं उस वक्त हो. So वो जो added responsibility है, I also consider that responsibility to be part of those series of negotiations, and then not shying away from asking for help and saying that today is a hard day, I can't manage it, maybe some other day, I'll bring my 100%. So making sure that you're taking care of that, taking care on that journey, because जैसे मैंने mention किया, the challenge of discrimination or bias is not something that can solve. It's an external factor. I will burn myself out trying to keep on asking this question कि ऐसे क्यों कर रहा है, ऐसे क्यों कर रहा है, ऐसे क्यों कर रहा है. So my strategy generally is to make sure the things that are in my control, I do them, and then the rest is going to solve itself eventually.
Thank you so much, Liz. she's faced during gemology?
So I'd like to add a little perspective, for the challenges that I face. I started my work after I got married, and I was a computer science graduate from past, and I did not work. I chose to be a homemaker by choice. It was because I had not seen many role models in my family, women who were pursuing careers, and generally there's this mindset that unless and until God forbid there's a need, women don't need to go out and earn. And when I started off, I think my main the challenge that really took all my strength was managing those different responsibilities, the different hats that you wear as a woman, because we're talking about from home hustle here. So it is actually very different. The playing field is very different from men. You are responsible as a homemaker for the well-being of a lot of other people in your home. And doing justice to all those roles while you take care of your own startup and your own work, that at times I feel is very challenging. We all have those strapping moments. We all bootstrap. Women generally are very, they're not very viable and very, they don't look positively towards financial support in terms of loans, in terms of banking, going to the banks for loans. So I think whenever women start a business and start work, I think we all prefer to bootstrap, and I think that's one of the core challenges is, as you say, cash flows get stuck because you are doing a lot of things. And then for me, entering a field that is primarily male dominated because dealing with all the artisans down the supply chain, for the gemstones, for the manufacturing, for the polishing, that was I think really hard because the kind of society that we have, men are not very receptive to women coming in and taking charge, even though you're qualified to do that, even though I had diplomas and degrees, and I had done courses from London, and I could tell what you're selling is not authentic, but people don't take nicely to that. So making your space in that challenging environment, I think that was something that I faced earlier on. And also in terms of when we talk about selling in Pakistan, I think the lack of awareness about authenticity, about sustainability, about good practices, वो एक general environment है जो के product based business field challenges in the country. So I think that is there are some of the things that I can do.
Thank you so much to all for you again for explaining your challenges. That was really motivating, especially about how you mentioned that passion is what keeps you going. And I think that's something that I, as someone who's part of Gen Z and people here do, get very relate with, because if we don't like something, we just don't do it. Which is bad in its own little way, but it's also good because knowing that in the future that would be helpful for us, it makes me feel secure. Thank you so much for that. Okay, I have a very broad question. It depends on you how you answer it. Any one of you can answer, that's fine. How would you give advice? What advice would you give to someone who doesn't know where to start their business from?
They must have some sort of hobby, their passion, where they focus their mind more. If they know that they can be committed with some sort of idea or some sort of niche, that will be the ideal point to start with first. Second thing is this, that whenever you are going to do some business, rather even you are going to do some biryani stall, you must need to have some sort of problem in front of you. You can't open a biryani stall in front of another biryani shop. You need to find out the problem and dig out that what kind of audience might be interested in your services. Even so, if you like the people who are living in US, they also start their life at the age of 14 and 13 by cutting the grass because they know their neighbors need it, and mostly are aged and they wanted to have some sort of that kind of help. So it's always about finding the problem first and then find the solution. I personally believe, especially in today's world, you can easily find out the solution because AI is still available for us. We can find it out some sort of ways with that. There are a few of the tools of AI, like for example VentureKit. From there, you can also put your few lines ideas and their business plans, that what is looking way more flexible for you and for your wallet for the initial years, and how you can manage your time. I personally believe that everyone should start a side gig or business, even though they are in any corporate job or corporate world life. Because the reason is this, it allows us to manage and organize ourselves more better in some other kind of different ways. So if we wanted to be a bit more focused, organized, and someone who can do a little bit of multitasking as well, then you might need to train your brain and start doing your new neuro wiring over there and start doing these kind of things and figure out which was the problem, and then try to see with the help of some of the AI tools that what would be the roadmap for you and what and how you can easily follow it up. I think that's the ideal way, especially in current era.
Thank you so much for that. Another question I have is that, wait, you have an answer to that as well? Since you also own a business, I would like to know.
So, maybe for like what you just asked, so I just wanted to say कि आपका why clear होना चाहिए. आपका why अपनी life के बारे में clear होना चाहिए. अगर life के बारे में clear है, तो अगर आप अपने business को या अपने venture को उस why के साथ attach कर लेते हो, तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें आपके लिए भी आसान हो जाती हैं. And I think कि वो business भी बड़ा वो that business will be your baby because your why is attached to it. Plus, I think there's also this phenomenon of bird in hand. कि look around you, what resources you have access to. ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आप जो है पहले ही आइडिया के साथ ही आप जो है फंडिंग क्रैक करने निकल जाए. तो you need to understand कि this is your idea, this is your business, this is your problem, and this is your why, and you have to work towards it. Because I very recently came across a lot of businesses who are working on the idea itself for past 4 years और MVP भी अभी तक नहीं बना है. तो 4 साल में दुनिया बदल जाती है. So if why is clear, I think it can change everything for you.
Can I just add to that? I think business start करते वक्त जो सबसे important चीज़ है, keep your expectations very realistic. You're not starting a business because XYZ friend ने start किया था और मेरे 2 cousin कर रहे थे. उन्होंने तो इतना 1 साल में उनके पैसे बनने लगे and I need to do this thing. This is not what a startup. बहुत glamorize हो गई ये चीज़ कि हम दोस्त मिलकर startup बनाएंगे और उसके बाद हम incubate होंगे और फिर हमें बहुत सारे पैसे मिल जाएंगे, हम funding raise कर लेंगे. In reality, I think if you all said, your why is very important. Our problem क्या solve करें, that's very important, and of course that expectation has to be very realistic. Most startups don't work on numbers. उन्हें कुछ नहीं पता होता है वो 4 years for just planning a startup. So बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है कि you look at it from a very realistic lens and fail fast. आपके पास एक idea है, आप उसको try out करें, build a product, do a service, and then try it out and experiment and see if it is working. If it's not, then you pivot and you reform that idea. That's really important.
Thank you so much for that. Has social media helped you guys in any way or form, or like affected your guys' businesses or your work?
Absolutely, 100%. I've built my community on Facebook, then later Twitter, then later on LinkedIn. I am not someone who's very good with in-person, interpersonal skills. I do not like meeting with a lot of people in person, but social media or behind the screen is a place where I feel very safe and I feel very confident. So I built everything, the whole empire of the things that I do online. And you can 100% do that. You do not need to be a digital marketer. I am not a marketer by any definition. I am through and through an engineering person, but at the same time, there are a few things that you need to understand is that right now, a lot of people think that just going viral is something that is really important, but it's very short-lived. So building a community, building a tribe, building a network, building a support system, it takes a lot of time. And it's a very simple 80-20 principle. 80% of the time you are the giver and 20% of the time you are the taker. So you have to provide a safe space for other people also, for that place to be your safe space. So social media, I think, has done wonders for the kind of work that I do. चाहे वो advocacy में हो, awareness में हो, skill building में हो, or even developing products.
Thank you so much for that. So Khala, how much time do I have left? 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so we'll start off with questions from the audience. I am so sorry I lost track of time, but if anyone has a question, please raise your hand.
आपने ये पूछा कि society has made us risk averse, तो हमने bootstrap कैसे किया? Is that what your question is? Okay. You share the risk. I have started companies on my own. I have started companies with co-founders. I have started companies with good co-founders, and I have started companies with horrible human beings. I would recommend starting a company with a good human being. That is the way that you share the risk and you minimize it and you up your chances of success and you find people who have complementing skills than you. So if you are a technologist, you find somebody who has a different skill set. So in my boot camp, the co-founders that I have, one has expertise in fundraising, my expertise in tech, and another one has expertise in operations. At Caterpillar, Hira and I, two completely different human beings with completely different skill set. So you share the risk. जहाँ तक bootstrapping की बात है, bootstrapping is important because you are putting your money where your mouth is. So it's really important that you spend your own money. If you don't believe in your own ideas, nobody's going to believe on it. So this is your contribution to what you want to build. And the third thing that is really important is that when you go to an investor, so I have been on both sides. At the place where I have been putting angel investments into smaller companies, and then at the other end where I was raising money for my organizations, right? If you are somebody who is going out there without having any stake in your own organization, nobody is going to put money in your business. All of us, I can tell you, must have received a lot of offers from people to put money in our businesses, and a lot of us has said no because we wanted that kind of control, creative control on our businesses. So मैंने investments ली भी हैं और बहुत सारी जगह refuse भी की हैं. It doesn't have, if anybody is giving you a check, you don't have to say yes all the time. जैसे वो आपको vet कर रहे हैं as a founder, you also vet them as an investor. You want that energy and that person in your organization, right? So bootstrapping का concept जो है वो ये है that you have to put in your own self into the organization. I give this advice to everybody that make sure that जो आप bootstrap कर रहे हैं, this is the kind of money that you can lose. It's not your kitchen money. Just make sure it's not your kitchen money. It's not the money that you used to pay for your kids' education or for your parents' healthcare. So this is the affordable loss that you can basically give away and try something out. For young people, for students, that affordable loss is time. In my case also, in a lot of ways, experimenting with things, and as Kenna mentioned, building new things, building new offerings requires time. So your affordable loss right now for students, not you, like students, is going to be their time. That they put in 100 hours, 200 hours, 500 hours, 1,000 hours into something to build an offering and then see if they can scale it. Yeah.
I wanted to add something on this whole point, and I do agree with all of the points which she has shared. But जो ज़्यादा शॉर्ट और रिलेटेड आंसर होगा ना मेरे ख्याल से है कि एक कीड़ा होगा आपके अंदर. अगर वो कीड़ा मर्द और औरत किसी में भी, इट्स नॉट अबाउट जेंडर, इज फॉरगेट अबाउट जेंडर राइट नाउ. वो कीड़ा आपको रेस्टलेस लगता है, वो आपको परेशान करता है, आपको सुकून नहीं आता. Eventually the only setback is this, that we are growing in a society where we are prepared and trained to be the part of the corporate world and do some kind of job, not leading a company. Most of the time we are having and facing this problem, and I think we, as much I know about the time when I studied, and I think most of us studied, we were trained in a way that we were never set to be as seen as like a leader at that time. But there was some that Kira in us who didn't let us alone at the whole scenario, that wanted us to push it. I am not fit for this thing. I need to do something else, and that's what is always in your mind. It's in your mind always. You need to figure it out that do you are you flexible with that kind of corporate world, or are you flexible to be the leader of the corporate world? So there are few of the questions which you might be getting in your life, so especially in the time when you are mostly studying and thinking about your future career. And I think it's not that much hard, especially in the time of AI as well. You can also take help from AI. You can write few of the questions, tell them about your personality, your daily routine, and things like that. And there was some person who also asked me a few months ago that you are telling us to share your own personality and replicate yourself in terms of AI, but that's not the reality. You have already agreed on, with all of the social media, as with their terms and conditions, that they are going to use your and replicate yourself in somehow, and they are now all publicly integrated with the AI. Because I think few years back it was not that much publicly integrated. Eventually they were also using AI at that time. So it means that it's not about being replicated or having a clone over AI of yourself. It's more about that how you are going to have somebody who can do a quick research about yourself and around you and figure it out that what could be a better way. I'm not saying that follow that way. I'm saying to just bring in some ideas, and you are the human. आप अशुभ मखलूक़ात हैं, आप figure it out करें कि क्या ये सही है. It's like more like a document, a personal document for yourself or on you. Because if you will go to any psychologist or maybe some career counselor, that will be way more expensive than paying just a $21 or $25 for even for ChatGPT or maybe Gemini. So whatever suits you, because most of the people have a different concept on that. So I think you just need to find out that thing that you like, and then you will know that what you can do and how you are going to be handle the situation.
Thank you so much for that, Ms. Sarah. Any other questions from the audience? We'll be taking more. Yeah.
Hi, so my question is from Sundar. Clothing is a very extremely saturated thing. So I wanted to know, because my family background is like textile and everything. So if I want to start a clothing business, I already done a business, but I want to go into clothing. But I'm like, what do I do in Pakistan? Because there are like almost everything people are coming up and they're doing it. What would you recommend to someone who wants to start a clothing business in Pakistan? And what do they do different to stand out?
Okay, so alright. As I think I just previously said कि आपका why clear होना चाहिए, ठीक है? तो मैं आपका personal why नहीं जानती हूँ, ठीक है? But वो जो USP है ना आपकी, वो उसी why से निकलेगी. Also, अब at this very moment, sustainability is something that everyone is going after. I am very much connected with people working with textiles and especially export. Export में इस वक्त sustainability is something that is gaining a lot of interest. A lot of companies are after sustainable products. A lot of companies are after recycled threads. A lot of companies are after they are willing to pay more for recycled products, recycled threads, recycled textile, than they are paying for the regular ones. So maybe try to find something there. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
With that, this panel discussion comes to an end. I would like all four of you to thank you so much for being here and sharing with us your ideas and how your businesses came to be. And I hope the audience also enjoyed. I'm so sorry for cutting the question and answer session short, but I hope what they said was passion enough for you to understand how to grow your business and how to actually get into the real world.
As Muskan said, thank you so much for the incredible talk. It was literally a very empowering feeling just sitting there in the audience and listening to your four very different and four very inspiring stories. So I would like to invite Soliha onto stage now and Dr. Iram to present the token of appreciation. So I'll call out your names. Ms. Faiza Yusuf. Mr. Mustaqbala. Ms. Sukaina Abbas. And Ms. Sarah Brown. So I'm sure. Okay, and Muskan. So I'm sure you all need some time now to absorb all those incredibly wise words. Let's take a breather and